Samantha and Marc Hurwitz are the co-founders of FliPSkills and recent speakers at a Strategic Capability Network event in Toronto. They sat down with Canadian HR Reporter TV to talk to us about why followership is just as important as leadership. We place a lot of focus on leadership, but not so much on followership. Why is that a problem within organizations?
Well, I don't think it's a problem per se. I think that it's important to focus on leadership. Leadership is vital to the health of organizations. But at the same time, we need to focus on followership as well. It's a yes and. We need both. You can't have a good partnership or a good relationship which is one-sided. So if someone's in the leadership role and they're good at it, if they're working with someone who's not good at the followership role as well, then you've got a dysfunctional partnership regardless. So partnerships are about two people, and for two people you need two roles. So it's time, I think, for us to give the appropriate amount of attention to both roles, which is leadership and followership.
Why is developing and focusing on followership necessary for organizational success?
If you think of the leadership role as directing the ship, then the followership role is the engine that actually propels it forwards. And so if you want to make progress in something, you need to have not only the people who are helping chart the course, but you need to have the people who are making sure we get to where we're going at the same time, who get us forward as efficiently as possible. There are huge organizational impacts to good followership. Positive followership has been shown to correlate to improvements of 17 to 43% in almost every organizational metric, from top line to bottom line, customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, you name it, it's there. So to not do followership is to say, hey, I'm not willing or not interested in that 30% improvement I could have in my business, and that's really not a terribly strong competitive position ultimately.
What are some myths or misconceptions about followership?
Sure, that's great. So some of the myths about followership are, when I become a leader, I'm no longer a follower. Well, in fact, what we find is that the higher up you move in the organizational hierarchy, the more refined and developed your followership skills have to be. There's another common myth that, well, followership is just the entry or entree into becoming a leader. And again, that's not true. They're a different set of skills. You need both. They're complementary, but you have to know how to do both to be maximally personally effective and for your organizations to have maximal effectiveness as well.
Why is it important to be able to play both roles, leader and follower, instead of just choosing one?
Right. So both roles are important for a whole variety of reasons. I don't think I have to talk much about why leadership is important. That's well understood and valid. But followership is important for two reasons. One is that from a personal career perspective, what you might find a little surprising is that when your leader looks at you, what they're actually seeing more often than not are your followership skills. And if your followership skills aren't well developed, they may think that everything else you do is not well developed. So you get what we call this pitchfork effect, that one bad thing that ruins everything. So you're not given the same latitude to act, you're not given the same resources to act with, so you need that. And then of course the other is that from the organizational perspective, if you're only doing one well, that's not going to help. I'll give you one other time when it's important. If you're trying to build collaborations in an organization, a collaboration by its very nature is not hierarchical. That doesn't mean there's no leadership or followership. It just means no one is the leader or follower all the time. And if you only have one set of skills in a collaboration, but it needs both, because sometimes you'll be taking on the leadership role and sometimes the followership role, you just can't collaborate well. And so it's critical to the idea of collaborations to have both sets of these complementary skills.